What's up, YouTube? It's the Duel Factory once again with another deck profile. This time it's a very special deck profile for me. This weekend I went to Indianapolis and I managed to top 8 my first event, but not only did I manage to top 8 my first event, I actually won the entire regional. I was very excited. It still hasn't really settled in yet that I actually won I wouldn't say major event, but a bigger event, I should say. But that being said, I did play Water this weekend. I was going to bring you this deck profile earlier, because I also played it in Rosemont. However, the two builds from Rosemont and Indianapolis very, very differently. So I wanted to bring you this one in case I did do well. But anyway, let's get straight into it. So for this event, I played 3 copies of Megalo. Typically, I only play 2. However, since I put the inclusion of Pot of Desires, I didn't want to take the chance of banishing both copies on accident if I was forced to Desires early if I had no playable hand. So that's why I bumped to 3. Plus, to be perfectly honest, you always kind of want to see this card in hand, because if you don't open Neptabyss but you open Dragoons, you want a way to resolve the Dragoons, and this gives you a way to do it. We also played 3 Teus. I like the fact that he's a 1-drop level 7. That triggers all my water monster effects and stuff like that. So that's why we played 3 of them. Plus, he's a really good combo piece. And then for the one-ofs, I played 1 Mermail Abysspike and 1 Gund. I honestly wish I would have played 2 Pike this event, just because I did play Undine in my build. But that being said, the 1 Gun was perfect. I never wanted more, never wanted any less. And then I did sometimes banish it off Desires, and I didn't really miss it. But that's it for the Mermail component. On to the Atlantean. I played 3 Prince. This card was MVP. I mean, all the games I won, I resolved this guy's effect. So, and he has to be played at 3. 2 copies of Dragoons. I can only play 2, so that's the number I played. And then I played 2 Marksmen. This was the perfect number. I didn't want to see any more, any less. And then I played 2 Infantry. I did want to see the 3rd a couple of times, but I think in all practicality, I think 2 is the perfect number. But that's to be later seen. Moulinglacia, I dropped this card a lot yesterday. And then the 1 Diva. I did open this a lot, but I was really scared to summon it, just because Valor was running rampant everywhere. But the times I did resolve her, I won the game. Onto the 3-ofs. Or onto the other water monsters, I should say. I play 3 Gameciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. This card was really, really important. This deck has a hard time getting around big established board with certain monsters. And this being able to clear the path for me to actually put an OTK on board was really important. Plus, a lot of my matches, I top decked it for game. So I love this card. It's a 3, and it's perfect being a water monster, because in the situations I don't need to clear their board, it's just more food for Megalo. And then, kind of like as the spice, I played 3 copies of Undine. So I noticed a lot of the problems with this deck is when you don't open Neptabyss, you have a really hard time playing the game. So to kind of mitigate that use, I summoned Undine. Or not summoned Undine, but I played Undine. And it kind of has the same effect as Neptabyss. It's not as powerful. However, being able to resolve the Dragoons once is usually more than enough to win the game. That being said, that's why I ended up playing it. Also, the only way my opponent can stop this card from sending the water monster, because it's a cost, its effect happens on summon. So you can't just, like, for example, Dark Destroyer pop it, or like Pleiades bounce it, or things like that. Or like you just can't interrupt its effect going off. That's why I kind of liked it. And that card was really good. And then the best play all day I had was opening Undine 1-for-1, because the Undine sends the Dragoons to add the Megalo to hand, and then adds the controller as well. And then the 1-for-1 is fueled by the controller you just added to hand. So this card was really, really good. A lot of people have been questioning me about it, but I think the card was really good. It was definitely worth playing. I also play 2 copies of controller to go with the Undine, because you have to have something to search for Undine. Normally, when I play this engine, I would only play 1. However, I am playing Pot of Desires, and I don't want to draw into an Undine and then not have a controller to search, so I can't resolve it, so I went ahead and played 2. Played 2 copies of Maxi, you can only play 2, and this is a go second strategy, so that's why I played in the main. And that's it for the monsters. I believe it's 29. On to the spells. I played 2 Pot of Desires. It's not that I think that this should go in every deck, but I think every deck that has a chance of being tier 1 should play this card. That being said, I didn't play the 3rd, because realistically, I only want to resolve this card once, but I do want to see it. So that's why I went ahead and played 2. A lot of people be giving me a lot of crap about this, but I thought this card was really good. Allure of Darkness. Now, this is an old Mermail theory, because when the builds first came out, when you played the Undine engine, you played the Allure, just because it was a good It was, you didn't really do anything with the controller. And it's kind of the same thing, that's like, you don't do a whole lot of controllers, so the Allure gives it a little bit of purpose. Plus, a lot of the times when I open Undine Allure, it just completed, it gave me the combo pieces I needed to complete the OTK. So this card was really good. I also played 2 copies of Instant Fusion. A lot of people play 3. I chose to play 2 just because I noticed also a lot of the hands that I was losing, I was opening way too many spell cards. And although this card's very powerful, opening 3 of them in an opening hand isn't very good. So I cut it down to 2, and I saw it plenty of times at the regional, so it was really good. I played 2 copies of Twin Twister. I was playing 3 at Rosemont, and like I said, my hand just kept clogging up with spells, so I cut it down to 2, and it was the perfect number. The 1-for-1. I didn't see this a whole lot. I think I resolved a total of 3 games, but the 3 games I did resolve it, I had Undine in hand, and it was just really, really good, and it was just a complete blowout. The 1 copy of Soul Charge, this card should be banned. I don't care what anyone says. It was unfair. There was 3 or 4 games I topped in and put me straight back into the game. This card is ridiculous. And then the 1 Abyss-Scale of The Mizuchi, I decided to play this because traps are, like, almost non-existent now. I mean, some Blue Eyes players are playing Phoenix Wind Blast, but your Blue Eyes matchup is so free, so that doesn't even matter. Plus, this stops, like, the melodies and stuff like that, too, if you're forced to go first. But yeah, I chose that over the Sadis. And that is the complete main deck. It is 40. On to the extra deck. I went into it a lot more than I thought I would, but that's to be said. The tokens that I play on top of my decks now. And then the 1 copy of Norden. Every time I resolve this card, I won the game. The 1 Tatsunoko, you can go into it with Diva and Neptabyss, and it was really important because it gives me free access to Chanbara and Coral Dragon with using monsters from my hand. Instead of Army Arm, I decided to finally put this in because I wanted a decent going first play if I open Diva, other than the 4-card hand loop. Because I notice a lot of the times the hand loop has a very, very low percentage of actually going off. And if nothing else, I can at least put a monster on board that my opponent has a hard time with dealing with. So I played Herald of the Arclight. 1 Hi-Speedroid Chanbara. I summon this a lot, and with Megalo in this, it puts a lot of damage on board. Like, this card was really good. Coral Dragon. The only time I summoned it was Game 3 of Round 9 against the Blue Eyes player I was playing, and this won me the game. So, one time I summoned it, got me the W. 1 Odd Eyes Meteorburst Dragon. This was the best generic 7 I could think of to play. It was usually there to stop, like, Burning Abyss effects, and it was also there to stop, like, Cosmos from floating and stuff like that, but I never summoned it. I played 1 Trish, summoned it once, won that game. It was actually round 5 that I summoned it against Dirk Wagner. He was playing Cosmo, and it won me the game, so that card was really good. And then the 1 Leo. I wasn't playing this at first, but then I found out it was really good against BA, which is one of my tougher matchups, and then usually if you can stick this on board, then their only out is the Crashed or 1 Beatrice, and then make a Pilgrim, and then that still doesn't get over it, because then they still have to make the Giga Brilliant to make it bigger than my Leo. Or not make it bigger, but make it the same size as my Leo. So this card was really good against BA, and I played 3 PK Fire, so... that's it for the Synchros, XYZs. I played 1 Dweller, summoned this card at least once a match, and it was really good. Silent Honor Arc, one of the big plays was I would Gameciel my opponent, and then I would stick this on board, and then take the Gameciel to clear the board and give me a more OTK push. This card was really good. 1 number 37, I only summoned it once, and it was my round 4. I played a Demise Satellanite player, and he didn't know what the effect was, and he was at 1,000 life points, and he had a attack position Castell. And then I attacked it, and then I cleared the effects. It dropped down to 1k, doing 1,600 damage, and won the match. So, the only time I summoned it, won the game. Diamond Direwolf, I was playing Emerald, but there was a lot of times that... shoutouts to Blake for suggesting playing this, because he actually suggested this when I was down at Worlds. But, there was a lot of times there was, like, certain cards I couldn't deal with, but this card could. Plus, it also helped me manipulate my grave. If I had, like, 3 waters and I had 2 underneath it, I could pop it and pop some other card in the field so I can summon Moulinglacia. I didn't summon it this event, but I summoned a lot at Rosemont, but I would still keep him in here. Having the utility of him is really good. 1 Gaios. I summon this a lot against Blue Eyes players backed by Dweller, because then their alternative can't deal with it. The 1 Red Eyes Flare, this is new. I dropped the 4-card hand loop altogether and decided just to play the Red Eyes Flare instead of the Draco Sack. And then this won me 2 of my BAPK matchups because they couldn't deal with it. Like, they had the Fog Blade, but I always had Twin Twister, or I had a Neptabyss to pop the Fog Blade before they could farfar this away, so this card was really good. And then the One Big Eye. I summoned this quite a few times, actually, and it was really good. That's the extra, and then I'm actually going to start on my side this time. So I played 3 cherries. This card's a blowout against Burning Abyss. If I'm forced to go, well, not forced, but when I go second against Blue Eyes, their big play is a turn 1 Spirit Dragon, unless they have Soul Charge and their play gets a little bit better than that. However, to prevent them from having the option to do that, I did side this going second. Plus, the nice thing about this is it's also a dark, so say if I draw multiple copies in opening hand and I have Allure, it's another card I can pitch away with Allure. And it's a tuner. That actually did come up once where I used it to make the Coral Dragon, and that was really good. 3 Veilers. This card, I never sided this card once. I never wanted to see it, so I'm probably going to take it out. And that's it for the monsters. On for the spells, I played 3 Book of Eclipse. This card, the times I sided in, was really, really good. Because my opponents would open absolutely broke with, like, huge boards where, like, one Gameciel can't deal with it. But if you open this with Gameciel and Book of Eclipse, you can deal with boards that summon huge monsters with 38. And it's a lot easier to play the game when their monsters are like, especially with the Cosmo, like, they can't tag out because their pilots are face down, or if they have to prematurely tag out in summon spaceships and they still go face down. So it's a lot easier to deal with my opponent's board when their stuff is face down, and I can just blow it up, versus having to OTK through all those monster effects. So I love this card. 2 Forbidden Chalice. In theory, this card was really good going first. However, I never drew into it. And then a lot of the matches that Chalice would have been good, I just end up blowing through their cards anyway and OTKing them. So I would probably cut this too. 3rd Twin Twister. It came up against the Cosmo player, and it came up against the Demise Satellanite player. So I would definitely keep the 3rd copy in. And then I decided a bunch of cherries targets. The 1 Dante for BA. The 1 Spirit for Blue Eyes. And then the 3rd target I thought that was kind of necessary was Boxia. In testing, this deck actually struggles a lot versus the Metal Foam Yang Zing deck, just because they summon a lot of monsters that you have a hard time dealing with, like 38 in Crystal Wing. That being said, I thought to myself, the only way they get to that combo is if they have the 3 Boxias in their extra deck to loop and do that actual combo. So I figured if I'm signing the cherries anyway, I might as well have a viable target against a deck that wants to go first, and I want to be able to completely cripple their strategy. And Ghost Reapering the Boxia is the best solution to that, because once they don't have the Boxia, then they can't stick those huge monsters on board, or they can't go into those big combos that ends with like Crystal Wing and Herald of the Arclight, 38, and Z for Divine Strike. Their strategy is dead. Then they have to go into like one monster like Void Ogre and stuff like that, which is a lot easier to deal with 1 card than it is to deal with 3 or 4 at a time. So that's why I sided him as the cherries targets. However, this event I didn't play any Metal Foam Yang Zing. And that was the complete deck, guys. My matchups, round 1, I played a Magician Pendulum. Round 2, I played a Blue Eyes. Round 3, I played a BAPK. Round 4, I also played... round 4 is another Blue Eye. No. Round 4 was the Cosmo Demise player, the Satellanite Demise player, sorry. Then round 5 was the... Cosmo player. That was the only matchup that I actually tied. The rest of them I won. Round 6 I played against BAPK again. Won that. Round 7 was a Metal Foe Magispector player. I won that. And then round 8 was another BAPK. He was really salty during the match, but afterwards he came up to me, he apologized, and congratulated me on winning the event. So he ended up being really cool. And then round 9, I played Blue Eyes. That guy was really, really cool. But Blue Eyes is my best matchup. And I won that hands outright. So I ended the day at 8-0-1 and took first place and won my very first event. I was very excited. And like I said, it's a very big Yu-Gi-Oh moment for me, I should say. Shout outs to my Decatur squad. You guys already know who you are. All the shit you guys give me, all the testing that we do and stuff like that. Big shout outs to you. Shout outs to Mike Glow. He's the one who suggested the Undine and the Allure engine, and it worked perfectly. I absolutely loved it. Thank you for suggesting that. Shout outs to Team RSP. Travis actually got my deck profile over on the Card Guys channel to Kyle. So shout out to them. They're a team down in Miami that they had me play for sometimes, and I brought them their first W. I'm very excited about that. And shout out to my store, Yeti Gaming Springfield. All those players contribute to me getting the testing I need to be able to go out to events and do well, and I'm very excited about this deck profile. Always remember to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Thank you.